Alright, so for part 2 of this, what we are going to be doing is taking the EPROM file that we just got, and we're going to be loading it into the Hotel Programmer. Alright, so I'm just going to open that up real quick. There are two Hotel Programmers. The one that I'm using is going to be for more EPROMs and MCUs. Communication error right here that you're seeing is only because I don't have my programmer hooked up. You do not need a programmer hooked up in order to read these. Alright, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I already went through and I already did all this. Only because I wanted to make sure that the video was more like streamlined, alright? But I'm still going to go through every single process that I did in order to get everything to work. Because I had already recorded this, but it really didn't turn out the way I wanted to, so I'm re-recording it right now. And I'm going to show you guys what I did, okay? So what we have to do at this point is open up the Hotel AT Programmer. There is one just called Programmer. The Programmer is more for engine ECUs and stuff like that. This one is more focused on the MCU, the EMO, and the EPROM section, okay? Which is fine, but we don't need to even pick EPROM, MCU, or EMO. All we have to do is go to Open, all right? What I'm going to do from there is go onto my desktop. From my desktop, I'm going to click on the Kia, and I'm going to click on this one. If you see right here, this is one that I had done a checksum on the EPROM in order to get everything to work. Because when I first did this, it did not work whatsoever. So I really didn't want to show you guys that portion. I really want to focus on what you have to do to get the VIN changed on these ECUs. All right. The trial and error is more me because I'm no expert at this. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert at this, but I like playing around with electronics. So I thought I'd bring you guys along and show you what I did to get everything to work. All right. So we're not going to worry about this one. What we're going to end up doing is going to all files. Okay. And from there, this is going to be our known good copy. Okay. This is a copy. The known good number 2 is the one that is has the VIN from the original ECU into it. All right, so what we're going to do is open up the good copy. All right, and I'm just going to scroll down, and we're going to end up seeing some data that's going to show up. All right, do not try to decipher this data. There are decoders out there, but it really doesn't change anything for us. All right, so what we have to do is we have to go down on this EPROM data, and we have to look for the two areas that have our VIN of the ECU that we have on the bench right now. So that would be this one right here. All right, so this is basically the VIN from the donor ECU. So KMHCT4AE XHU 289684. All right, so as you can see, we have this in two areas. We have one here and we have one here. Now what we have to do onto this is actually take and change that. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to open up the one that I did change, not the checksum one, but the one that is changed. All right, so from there we're going to go on to we'll open up the Hyundai known good, because this one is the one that actually has it changed, and I'll just show everybody that. All right, I'm a little too far. No, I can go down a little bit more. Here we go. All right, so this is the VIN of the one that we need. Okay, so KMHCT5AE 1FU221437. All right, that is the VIN that we need into the ECU, and the one that is in the ECU right now is not that. I'm going to show you guys a quicker way in order to locate the numbers and digits on here also. All right, so this is the one that we have in the ECU right now, and we need to change it to this one. All right, so in order to do that, it is very simple. All we have to do is take and scroll down, and click which number, digit or letter that we want to change. So I got the VIN right here. I'll post this picture up on screen for everybody, just so you guys can see the VIN that I have to change, that I have to input. All right, not that one. Here we go. So the one that I need is KMHCT5AE. So I have to change the 4 to a 5. All right. So we're going to just go forward, go back, and put a 5. All right. And after that, it's 1FU221437. All right. So 1 capital F U capital U, 221437. All right. Now, the reason I was saying capital is because you have to put a capital in if there's a capital in that spot. I'll give you an example of that. If we look here where it says K, all right, all I'm going to do is take off the K, and now I'm going to put a small k. If we look in the space where the small k is, all right, which should be the 6B right here, all right, I hope it's at 6B, 6B, and now if I take away the K, and now I put a capital K, it is now a 4B. So you cannot put a small k in the place of a big K, just like you can't put a big K in place of a small k. It will change the numerical value on the hex for the hex code, and it will you'll never get the VIN to change on this. All right, so keep that in mind when you are doing this. If it's a capital, put a capital. If it's a small letter, put a small letter. If it's a special character, put the special character. All right, it has to be exact. Now, after all that is done, all right, I'm not going to save this one because we don't need it. No, I do not want to save. All right, so after all that is done, you would click on the save button, and that would, in essence, take and save the data that you just changed for the VINs. Now, the issue is that in the first video I said that I don't believe it needs a checksum, but after going through and doing even more research, that's why I'm redoing this video, if you change the VIN in the EPROM, you do have to do a checksum correction. Now, on top of finding the information for that, which took me, I wouldn't say quite a while, but a good 2-3 hours of searching and reading and just really like trying to find the proper information, you have to find a program in order to be able to do the checksum correction on an EPROM. Now, I know that there's ones out there to do checksum corrections for MCUs, but I have not seen one to do a checksum for an EPROM, and eventually I did end up finding one. I'm going to show it to you guys in a minute, but you do need this checksum in order to get it to get the checksum done. All right, so what I'm going to do at this point is that I'm going to switch back over to the K tag, and I'm going to take and I'm going to show you guys what you have to do in order to really get this done to 100%. Okay, so I'm gonna switch on my camera. I'm gonna record some video on my camera and on my computer screen. Okay, so I'll bring you guys along, and hopefully you guys enjoy this part also. All right, so I'm gonna remove all these. These were just to take and verify the VIN was actually changed into the ECU. So what we are going to do is actually take and hook up the K tag again. All right, and we are going to take and insert the original VIN into the back into this ECU so I can show you what I did in order to get this to work. So I'm going to take and hook up my power and ground. I know pretty much where all these wires are right now. Okay, I've taken them in and out multiple times on this ECU. Okay. After that, this is going to be my CNF1, sorry, I should say that proper. I'm going to get yelled at. Okay, what these pins actually mean, I have no idea. Like I said, I'm not, I enjoy doing this type of work, but as long as I can get it to work, I don't really look too much on what they are. Okay, I don't plan on doing this for mapping the ECUs or anything. This is really just for cloning ECUs. That's all I want to do with this. Okay, so we're gonna have the two blocks right here. Lighting is very, very important when you're doing this. Okay, can't stress that enough. Make sure you have the proper lighting whenever you're playing with any type of programming equipment. Proper voltages too. Typically, if you are getting this stuff from China, the adapters that they send are not adequate for voltage readings. So, keep that in mind. If something's not working, it might be as easy as just changing your power supply. Okay? So we're going to be pretty much done here. Okay? Bring this down, bring this over and we'll get him plugged in proper. Okay. Alright, so I have everything hooked up right now. Now what I have to do is bring over my power supply to my K-tag unit, wherever that went. Give me a second. I have them here somewhere. Like I said, don't mind the mess of wires right now, everyone. Okay. I just got this stuff like set up roughly. I eventually want to have a bigger space in order to do all this stuff because I have way too many electronics in one little area. Alright, so we have our power. We are not hooked up to the computer yet. I will do that in a second. This is a net safe version of the K-tag, but I always take and just turn it off anyway. Why? Because I want to be extra safe. I don't want to end up breaking my K-tag. Alright, so I am hooked up to the computer right now. I am hooked up with my power. The last thing that I have to do is just turn on my power supply. Alright, and from there I will restart the recording. Okay, on my computer. Recorder, we will press play. Now from there I'm going to minimize the hotel and I'm going to bring up the K-tag. Alright. So everything is hooked up and now what I'm going to do is that I am going to write the original file back to the ECU. Okay. And then what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to write the file that has the VIN but is not checksummed. Alright. So I'm just going to pick the vehicle. I already have everything all set up, so I don't have to worry about that, and that, and that. Now what we're going to do is we are going to write the EPROM. Alright, this does not take a long time. We are going to take the copy because the copy is my actually known good. Alright, I just made a copy of it. No, this is going to be not lengthy, but after this I got to take and I got to hook up the go diag to the ECU, read the go diag, and then go from there. Alright, so right now what I am doing is just reading from the loading the EPROM data, the original EPROM data, back to the ECU so I can show you guys what is needed from step 1. Alright. So sometimes this takes a little bit of time. Alright. So I'll just bring you guys over real quick. Okay, if you look on here, see the voltage is fluctuating up and down. Right now it's just trying to identify the ECU. Okay. For some reason it's not identifying it. Oh, I know why. Never mind. I'm not on yet. That's why. Here. Give me a second. I thought I was on. Now I'm on. Alright. Let's try that again. That one's on, that one's on, and this one moved. So that's not going to work. Man. Everything's moving tonight. Alright, so let me try that again. Let's go right. Let's go copy. Let's press open again. Everything should be connected now. They say to solder these connections to make sure that they don't move, and this is why. Alright. Last thing you want is to be writing the EPROM and then it slips out of the way, but we'll let this go. Like I said, after it identifies the ECU, it doesn't take very long to write the EPROM. So there's still a communication error. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to press down on this, try to get a better connection. So it might be this one right here actually. Okay. That one. They all look good from here. Let's just make sure. Alright. Let's try this again. There we go. All right, so now it's writing in progress. It was just a matter of getting the connections proper. Okay, as I said, the EPROM does not take long to load whatsoever. So from there, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to hook up the GoDiag to the system. All right, and we are going to see what is going on from there. So I'm just going to go open the recorder. I'll pause the recorder because we don't need that right now. Okay, so I'm just going to remove my power, my ground. All right, I'll remove everything from here. I don't want this plugged up at all. Okay, now I'm going to plug in the GoDiag. As I said, I know where all these connections are already, so I don't want you to worry too much about that. As many connections, I have no idea, but I would rather put all the powers and grounds than just my comm lines and then go from there. Okay, I only have one power cable, so I have to use this one. So I'm gonna plug this guy in. From there, I'm gonna bring out my trusted YA301. All right, it's actually perfect for this. Okay, so we're gonna plug him in. He's gonna power on. Okay, I'll try to keep him on screen. Now I'm gonna power on the ECU. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is just press the VIN button. See if it connects to it, and my VIN 2896848. I don't know if everybody can see that. I hope so. All right. So now what we are going to do is take and load the corrupted file into it, and I'm going to redo this about 3 times, so I might fast forward and pause on specific areas. Okay, I don't think I have to show hooking up the tool again and all that, but I am going to do specific things. Okay, so from there I'm going to unplug all this, and I got to hook everything else up again. Okay, so I need my power, grounds, and comm lines again. Alright, so that looks good. Now I'm just going to load up the EPROM again. And this one's going to be the corrupted one. Alright, so the second EPROM is done. What I'm going to do now is come in and we're going to do the exact same thing with the GoDiag. And we're just going to read the VIN. Alright. Like I said, we've got a few connections, but we should be okay. If you guys don't know which GoDiag I'm referring to, it's the GoDiag GT100. Is actually a very, very good tool, especially for bench work, but you do need a better power adapter for it, because the power adapters that they send are no good. There was one that was actually throwing out AC current onto it, and it like almost destroyed well, I can't say it almost destroyed, it did destroy a cluster that I was working on. So alright, so now, same thing, the tool is powering on. I'm going to turn everything on. Alright, and what we're going to do is just press the VIN button again. Now, as you can tell, there is no VIN whatsoever. Alright, now the file that I loaded, I'm going to start back up the screen recorder. I'm going to just show everybody, okay? Open recorder, play. Alright, so the file that I opened is, let's go all files, is this one right here. Alright, this file is already open. Do you want to reload it? Yes. Alright, so this is the one that I loaded. As you can tell, I didn't go check the checksum on the other one. It's true, I should actually do that, but anyway. Alright, so as you can tell, it is loaded right here. Alright, so everything is good, the VIN is good, but what's missing out of this one is the checksum correction. Alright, so in order to do this properly, what needs to be done is you're going to have to get a program. You can download it, and you have to pay for it, pretty much. Alright, there was versions of this online, but it is not online anymore. So what you do have to do is pay for a program now. So what I'm going to do is show you what you need to do. All right. So we are going to take and we are going to open up this Emo Off 17 by Neural Tuning. All right. This is probably one of the best EPROM checksum correction tools out there. So if you want to do an Emo Off checksum correction for the EPROM, you do this. If you want to do just an EPROM checksum correction only, you do this. All right. So this is the EPROM that I have. Okay. So if you see here, file from original EPROM file, EPROM 2 known good copy, because this is the one that is good onto my vehicle. All right. So after that, checksum correction on file. All right. We want to take known good EPR. The known good EPR is the one that I just loaded. All right. Then after that, it's going to go through its checksum and it's going to check specific blocks. Now, if we see block 8700, let's go see where block 8700 is. 8700. Right here. Oh, look. Look at this, guys. What is this? Block 8700 is where I actually changed. All right. The next one it said was block 8780. Where's 8780? Oh, look. Block 8780 is also where I changed the VIN. So those are the two blocks that are needed in order to correct this. So I'm going to redo it again for everybody just to show you. Okay, so what you have to do is click on EPROM checksum correction only. Okay, what we are going to do is take our known good, because please select the original EPROM file. Perfect. All right, we're going to click open. Next is going to say, please select the modified EPROM file. The modified one was this one. All right, so we're just going to click open. Now it's going to go through and it's going to check everything. Now it says go to users Laterno 86 Kia high data separate Hyundai known good checksum OK bin. So now I should have two of those in there. So we're going to go in, we're going to come in here, and if we see, we have it right here. All right, this is the OK bin. I guess it only does one at a time. So so this is the one that we are going to load into the ECU now. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to pause this. Pause my screen recorder. Right, because we don't need it. So now what I'm going to do is the exact same thing. I'm going to remove all this again. Like I said, pretty lengthy, but I don't mind doing it just to really show how to do this. There might be other programs out there. This one I find works very well. So that is why I'm using it. Alright, so what we have to do now is take and hook up our tool to our K-tag again in order to get all this working again. So let's start with our K-tag again and go from there. I'm going to load up the K-tag again. Okay. Now this time I'm going to be replacing it with the checksum EPROM. So we're going to go right, EPROM only, right. It's the only thing I touched. Now we're going to take the checksum EPROM, we're going to press open, and we're going to let it do its thing. Gotta hand it to people that created this alien tech software. If I had $20,000, it's for sure I would buy the original. But $20,000 is still a good chunk of change. If I'm not mistaken, the KES is what, $39,000 or something like that. It's really, really expensive. But for what it can do, and if this is all you do, you know, like, then it's no problem. But this isn't all that I do. I like doing stuff like this. I find it fun. I find it interesting. But it's not like my main source of like income in my business. So, can I do it? I can, but it's not. It's not. How can I put it? Right now, it's not like a good source of income if you want. Okay, but it depends on the ECUs. Like for Kia, if you want to change the like this right here, in order to do this normally, if you don't know anybody or there's no companies around, this is a new ECU in order to get the proper VIN into it. That's the only way to do it. All right. So we are done. Now we can exit the K tag. Okay, it's that simple. Now we're gonna take off all our probes again. Like I said, pretty lengthy process. But this is just for validation, that's all it is. Okay, I already know that the EPROM is going to work. So we're going to take off our power, our ground, our 2 CAN lines, and our extra power. And then from there, we have to take our grounds and our powers again. Alright, moment of truth. Let this tool power up. I'm going to switch everything on. Alright, press the VIN button. And I hope you guys can see the VIN that's into it now. It is 1FU221437, which is the VIN that I needed. Okay, I'll show you guys, give you guys a picture of that. Like I said, I don't have it on my computer, but here. Okay. So I will take and do that. Just to give you guys the last digits, alright? 1FU221437, and what is in this ECU now? 1FU221437. Alright, so that pretty much concludes this video. As I said before, if you have any comments, questions, criticisms, leave them in the comment section as always. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a learning process for me, that's for sure. But if I ever get to do other ones, I will bring you guys along for sure. And that's it. And I'll see you guys next time.